It is the first day of 2022. 2022. Three twos. 222. So I am fascinated, as I'm sure you are, the 222 vibe, in angelic connotations and relations and connections. The number 222 relates to lots of twos in that sentence, relates to faith and trust. And obviously, the last few years have been testing that, I think, incredibly. So the year 2022 is about having faith and trusting. And obviously, the one thing you can always trust and work on trusting and having faith in is yourself. Okay. And what I really like about the number two, without its repetitions, just the number two on its own, is the number two is related to the feminine force, the force of the goddess. Yay! So 2022, faith and trust, and then related to feminine force, the rise of divine feminine, the rise of caring and protection and nurturing and intuitiveness. Okay, I like the vibe of the 222 from the angelic faith and trust, and then that the number two is related to I've got to stop laughing every time there's all those twos related to the now I've forgotten what I was saying. Okay, so we've got faith and trust, and it's related to the feminine force. Okay, I love it. I love that, and the whole goddess vibe. I just love it. And obviously, twos in the tarot. All the two kind of cards in the tarot, whether it's the the cups, the pentacles, the swords, or the wands. Twos are symbolic of a one unified force dividing into polarity, where you have the energy between the two poles basically resonating and passing. Okay, so you've got this lovely energy of polarized choice, decision, the fork in the road, balance. Okay, so the two has a very some really nice qualities to think about. And in the tarot, not only the actual twos themselves, but the card that actually has the number two in the tarot is the beautiful, my favourite card, is the High Priestess. Okay, and I just look at her in all her grace and glory, just sitting there in her gowns with the crescent moon at her feet, the element of water and intuitive flowing, just being in connection with those wonderful subtle energies that flow. You have the two pillars of Boaz and Wahim, which are the pillars of severity and mercy, and she sits in between them with her knowledge, her just deep intuitive knowledge, that she just goes into herself in quiet reverence to herself. And behind her there is this curtain that obviously symbolizes the things that cannot be seen here by the High Priestess. Yet she has a scroll in her hand, and within that scroll is the secrets of the divine, okay, sacred information. So when you think about this year ahead, and you have the High Priestess, you have the number two, the feminine force, and you have the repeated two, the 222, of the angelic realm, relating to faith and trust, it seems like it could be really quite a nice year, doesn't it? I mean, the two is it's diplomacy, it's teamwork, it's harmony, as opposed to control and force and making things the way that someone thinks they should be. It's more collaborative and coming together and just like having this faith and trust, and not only in the self, because everything starts with the self. How can you possibly have trust in other people if you don't trust yourself? And obviously if people don't trust themselves, they then project their mistrust into relationships, because twos are all about relationships and relating and making things work, and intuitively using that kind of insight and higher knowledge, divine knowledge, developed knowledge, in order to make things work, all kinds of relationships. And obviously, once you add those twos up, you come to the number 6, and the card of the tarot of the number 6 is the Lovers. Okay, and there we have the Lovers, and the Lovers represents coming together in relationship, a marriage of sorts, but relating, contracts, relationships that can relate, relationships that mean having contracts, and all the things that relationships bring up, from the love, the joy, then the suspicion and everything else, and like I say, not projecting old stuff into new relationships, and making contracts and being there in the naked self. Two polarized elements, the male and the female, obviously with that beautiful divine sunlit angel in the background. Here we have again we have a polarity of male and female, with that well, what is that in the background? It looks like a huge sand dune, but I've got a very active imagination, so it could also look like something else to me. So the Lovers is about making contracts, but heartfelt contracts. The number 6 in numerology relates to the heart, okay, and healing. Again, harmony and healing, because in good relations, whether they're business or personal or friends or family, good relationships create healing, create harmony, okay? And therefore, when you look at the year ahead, I think it's full of promise. What do you think? We have the lovely High Priestess. I mean, it's lovely. It's compassion. The Lovers. When you think about relations and marriage, really, what works is having compassion for each other, being kind to each other. Okay, using that wonderful, intuitive, fantastic energy of the High Priestess. Being kind, being caring, being thoughtful. Working on harmony, bringing the kindness and compassion into everything, okay? Being supportive, being protective. So that's the beginning, 2022. And obviously in amongst that, we have the 0 amongst it all. But I just wanted to do a nice start to the first day of 2022. 222, add up to the number 6, and I think it looks very promising. Obviously there's always balance. I shall make a video about this at some point later, but Jupiter has gone into Pisces. Jupiter, the benevolent planet of luck and finding one's purpose, and Jupiter, the god of gods, wants you to be happy and find your niche, and that's gone into Pisces, the sign of healing and compassion and, just kindness again. Pisces is imaginative, it's dreamy. Pisces wants to dream the loved up world. Pisces is wanting the utopia, wanting everyone just to be happy, just hold hands and love each other and see yourself in the other person. Pisces is so full of the kind of vision. Pisces is visionary, and it's the vision, okay? Obviously, the flip side, of which there is always, to Pisces is it's delusional and gets led down the garden path because it's so trusting. It just wants everything to be lovely, and so can sometimes get led down the garden path and end up being disappointed and let down. So I'm an optimist. I just can't help myself. So Jupiter and Pisces, for me, it's like, okay, all this lovely, the High Priestess, the Lovers, and then we have Jupiter and Pisces. We have lots of other lovely astrological things going on. I shall be talking about it in my videos this year. And this year I'm going to be doing a lot of my personal favourite stuff, which is goddessness, doing readings and poems and not necessarily mine, but just really filling the airways with the praise to the goddess, and especially with all these twos and celebrating the feminine force. I'm really looking forward to the year ahead. So let's bring it on.